quick side note, I know it's burnishing, not varnishing. But I'm a New Yorker. So if it's going to just flow out of my mouth, you're going to have to put up with it. Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about varnishing. And Melody had asked the question just yesterday. And it was such a good question that I put my color demo on hold for a minute. And I want to get this out to you because a lot of people have probably got this question too. And her question was, when do you know when to varnish? Basically, how do you varnish? So let's take a look and we'll get that whole varnishing thing cleared up. I have to begin by showing you an up close of the tooth of the paper, and I'm going to do that by drawing. And what you have, say you have your sheet, and you're looking from the side view, which would be this way, into the sheet. Okay, so there's the sheet. I'm looking here. If I got really high magnification, you're going to notice that the paper goes like this. Okay, and then there would be more of these bumps. Okay, this is known as the tooth of the paper. Some paper have higher tooth, and some paper have very little tooth. There are mediums in art that you want less tooth, such as watercoloring. Watercoloring paper is very smooth, sleek, slippery. The water flows on it. When you're coloring with wax pencils or oil pencils, you want like a good medium tooth. Some artists like a real heavy tooth. What you're doing is, let me get out a different color. When the wax goes on top, what you're doing is depositing the wax into the teeth. Okay? Now, when you're doing light coloring, okay? When you're barely scratching the surface, your wax is going off the top and it's scraping on the teeth. Then you do another layer and that wax digs in, and another layer and it digs in. And that's what you really want. You want these layers to keep going until this tooth is full. When it is full, it's called saturation. If you go too heavy on these teeth, and say you're doing your first layer, and you go like this on your first layer, what you're doing is you're depositing a thick layer over here, and you're tapping your tooth down. So when it comes to your very next layer, going over that, we'll get a different color. Okay, I'm depositing over that. You're only going to be able to scrape up enough of the tooth to get your next layer, and then your next layer, and your next layer. And what you're doing is you're cramming the tooth down, creating a soft surface. And that soft surface, or that sleek surface that you've now just created, is varnishing. But a lot of people heard varnishing is good, varnishing is bad. Varnishing is good when it comes to the last layers. When you are on those top layers and you've smoothly gone and you've done another layer and you've done another layer and you're happy with the blending that you have, then your last layer, you'll tap it down. So whatever your last layer is, you're going to tap it. Like circle, but you're going to increase your pressure. What this is going to do is create a very shiny surface. But remember, after you varnish, you're done. Now, there are tools that you can use for varnishing. This is a varnishing pencil. Okay, it's supposedly different than a blending pencil. I don't use the clear pencil to blend, but some people do. It's fine. Varnishing is where you take your entire sheet and you go over it. See what happens? I'm creating that sleek look, tapping it down, but I'm not really adding any layer to it. It's just scraping down. After you varnish, well, I could still get more because I still had tooth, but you have to remember your paper is now damaged. And you can see on the other side, it becomes raised, right where you were varnishing. So what is my recommendations? I don't varnish. Well, it happens. Cheap paper, that's why I'm always saying like Creative Haven or some of those other ones that have really cheap paper. They varnish too easy. Their paper is so easy to flatten that it just varnishes with light layers, very light layers. So I stay away from those books. It's my own personal choice. If you have those books, I do recommend you just copy them onto better paper if you like the artwork in the book. There's plenty of them that I do. There's plenty of coloring artists that I love that use cheap paper. My favorite paper is actually the hardcover books. I love the feel of those papers, and there's a lot of the artists that do use it, but that's just my choice of every day. So that is varnishing. And what I do, so what can I do to avoid varnishing? Well, I do my first layer. It's a light layer. I don't care if I still see the lines in here or some of the paper. You can just see it. I don't care. I want that to look like that so that I have plenty of places to go from there. Then I do my second layer, and if I'm using the Prismacolors, okay, I have my second layer. Then I may put a third layer. A fourth layer. Then I blend. Now, blending is not varnishing. I am not putting a lot of pressure. In fact, it's easier to blend when you use lighter lines, when you have a lighter hand. And you just take the pencil. Now, I have polychromos mixed in this, so it's not going to blend as well. And I just blend it up. I have plenty of tooth left on the paper. I've just deposited just one more layer. From there, I can take it into my shading levels. And I may have 2 or 3 shades going in, different colors on top of that. Then I put a shadow layer on it. So I may shadow this corner. And at the very end, if you have tooth, you may even want to blend that in so it's soft. The last layer I put on when I'm happy is a color layer. Okay? A color layer takes off the white blending. So I would use the same color underneath, and I would just very light layer, brighten up the color. This is just the way I handle it. Every artist is different. This is just my method. And I put that light layer on, and that brightens up the color, and you don't see the blending of the white on the top. I don't have that film. After that, instead of me taking my pencil and varnishing it all, damaging the paper, at the very end, I spray. And what spraying does, it adds like an acrylic magnifier on top of this and gives it a very, very smooth and clean. As far as the sprays, I'll leave the one that I'm using. I'm using the Rust-Oleum one, but I usually buy the Krylon. I'll leave that in the description box below and a link on top for the video I did on sprays. So I hope this answered all the questions about varnishing. It's not something that I personally practice a lot of, and that's just my own preference. I've seen other artists, very, very good artists, talk about it, and at the point of when they put a varnish layer on. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'm here for you. And I will see you tomorrow with another lesson. Take care. Bye-bye.